welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Annovella, and today, as every other day, we are going to talk about books. I didn't read much this week because it was quite busy and very hot, and I met some people and some friends, and it was a good week, but not a good reading week. So yeah, I've been working for 3 weeks in Brussels for an advertising agency named Publicis, and I really enjoyed it, and I had a great time, and mostly in the evenings I could finally meet up with some friends who live in Brussels, so I did that, and I really enjoyed it. On the other hand, there's of course Garb August. I tried to participate, but I failed miserably. I tried reading a Jackie Collins book. What was the original title? Sunday Simmons and Charlie Brick Sinners. Boy, that was bad. This was bad. I DNF'd it. That's nothing for me. Whew. No. My patience is too thin to continue reading this. So sorry, Ollie, I had to bail on you. But what I did read and what I really enjoyed was the book by the Bulgarian writer Georgi Gospodinov, Time Shelter, it's called. I read it in Dutch, but it's also published in English. I'm pretty sure that Zina at Beating Around the Books will talk about it. So this is about a guy who runs an institution for Alzheimer patients, and each floor is given a theme, floor 1 is the 40s, the 50s is the second floor, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and so on. The main reason behind it is that most Alzheimer patients live in the past, and they pick and choose the floor where they were happiest. So if you were at your happiest in the 50s, well, you chose floor 3. Really good idea, but it quickly got out of hand because, of course, Alzheimer patients have family comes to visit, and they see the theme and they feel nostalgic, and everything goes out of hand. And it's a really interesting book. It's funny at times, very funny even, especially the moment with the flag. It made me think of 2 books. At the beginning, I really thought of Jose Saramago's Seeing, because it's also a very conceptual book. It's about government and control of the people. And also at the end, I was thinking about Anomaly, by Hervé Letellier, which is now shortlisted for the Booktube Prize in Translated Fiction. It's a brilliant novel. You should really read it. It's really good. And the ending is a bit the same as this one. It was a 4-star read for me. I thought the ending was a bit messy, and but I had a good chuckle now and then. So yeah, I really loved it. Another book that I loved, but for completely other reasons, is this one, The Nazi Billionaires. Nazi Billionaires is written by David de Jong. He's a Dutch author, a Dutch journalist, and he was asked to write this book because he writes a lot about Nazism and the aftermath. And he was asked to to dive into the famous brands, the German brands who became wealthy thanks to Nazi regime. So we have like the Oetker family that has now the famous Dr. Oetker brand with cheap pizzas and the puddings and the baking goodies and stuff. And that family was really horrible, together with Ferdinand Porsche and his in-laws, the Piechs and the Quants, and the Balzen family. The Balzen family was the Cookie family and Allianz Insurance, and they all are horrible, horrible, horrible people. So what happened was as soon as Hitler was elected, they gathered around all the most important industrials in Germany. And they said, well, look, now we're in power, there won't be any elections anymore. It's over. We are taking power and we are here to stay. Nobody reacted or thought it was a bad idea or said, well, I object. Nope, nobody. And they said that they were going to build an empire and they needed their money. But that on the other hand, they will help get all the government help they need. They did that, and some were more reluctant, but they were bullied into it afterwards, and especially the Finks. And they threw him in jail for 2 weeks, and then afterwards he was their best supporter. And what happened was they Aryanized all the factories and all the manufacturers and whatever, and all the businesses that were owned by Jews. They were Aryanized, so which means that they were sold, or they were taken away, or forced to sell their company for a ridiculous price to the big ones, to the Nazi billionaires. And what is also very shocking, like the Balzen families and the Piechs and the Oetkers, they had forced laborers, and they even went to Auschwitz to pick the people to work in their factories. The factories were not heated, often missed, especially for Volkswagen, often missed even windows because it had to be built so quickly. Almost every worker died there, and like my uncle was deported to Germany to work in one of those factories, and he came back as a very, very slim man, and he never gained any weight anymore, but he didn't suffer too much. He just hated the Germans afterwards, but he came out okay, fortunately. He was a political prisoner because my family was were well known in the resistance. So so my uncle was deported to Germany, close to the Czech border. And he had some really tough times there, but he lived a very long life afterwards. He turned 95. He died at the age of 95. So it's a really interesting read. Also, how they got off with it very easily. So this is an absolute must-read if you want to read about economics during the Nazi regime. It was really well written. It made me think of The Empire of Pain in the sense that it was written in that style, very quick, very engaging, very clear and not too technical. It was absolutely stunning, disturbing read. So that was one of the 2 books that I've read. I'm still reading other stuff, but it's too early to talk about it. I'm listening to Heresy. I forgot who the author was. It's narrated, amongst others, by Natalie Naldes. I really like her voice and her acting when she reads books. Heresy is about, it's a Western with female protagonists. So when one of the ladies, Hattie, was lost her husband. She kept the ranch, and she broke wild horses and sold them for a business. And then there's a landowner who wants to take over their land, and more and more women arrive at that farm to work there and to be safe. And they start to rob stagecoaches owned by the man who wants to steal her land, only by them. And it becomes very serious very quickly. And but it's enjoyable. I'm still a long way from the end, but I'm still enjoying it. So I mostly read audiobooks to fall asleep. And after half an hour, it's very funny, but after half an hour, I'm gone. It's like my mind knows we have to listen for half an hour, and then we can go to sleep. It works perfectly for me. So a couple of books that I want to read. This one was given in person by the god of all booktubers, the one and only Bob the Booker. We met up in Brussels last Wednesday. We had a lovely, lovely time. He's a very sweet guy, and a very sweaty guy too, but so was I. It was 32 degrees that day in Brussels. And we had a really good time. We chatted all evening about books and about authors, and we really loved it. And all the booktubers, of course, and the ones we liked, and it was really fun. It was. I'm pretty sure we'll meet again. Maybe next year he will come back to Belgium, and I'm giving him another tour. That is more nature than, of course, if you travel by train and public transport, you can only visit so much, and it's often off the beaten track that the most beautiful things are to be seen. So we will be doing that hopefully next year, and if we don't, we don't. But I'm really curious. Everybody is reading it right now. We had to wait till January of 23 to read it, so he kindly offered me to bring it from London, and I gave him Thirst by Amélie Nothomb, so I'm really curious what he thinks of it. And he is also reading something that I have written, so I hope he will read it, and I hope he will like it. So that's Bob the Booker's gift. I'm really happy, and I'm happy to have met him. What a lovely place YouTube is, and BookTube especially. Finally, I can talk about books, and I have friends who read, but they don't read the stuff that I like, and. With Bob, we were at least in the same area of things we liked, and it was good fun. What I really like reading is letters, and one of the books that I want to read now is Clarice Lispector's Letters to Her Sisters. This is a Dutch translation. I don't know if it translated in English too. Clarice Lispector is a Brazilian writer who is a bit, who is an acquired taste. Her writings are an acquired taste, and a lot of people say it's something you really have to love, but if you do, you love it with a passion. So these are the letters she wrote to her sisters, Tanya and Elisa, between 1940 and 1959, on the height of her writer career. And she mostly talks about her writing and her writing process. And I love reading about those things. So I'm really looking forward to read this book. Then another book that I also found in my favorite bookstore called Nabokov in a little town, little city called Sint-Truiden, Saint-Tron. Catherine is has become a really good friend, and she's so helpful and so sweet, and she has such impeccable taste when it comes to books. We really like or mostly love the same stuff. So yeah, and but the bookstore is so small, and she doesn't even have a window display, so it's a struggle. So that's why I try to mention her as much as possible. But she has impeccable taste, so I bought this there, and I bought another one there. It's called Hunger by Knut Hansson. Hansson, yeah, he's a Norwegian writer, and Knut Hansson is not a saint, far from it. So he lived in Norway, and he wrote this one, Hunger, in 1888, I believe, and then he won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1920. And then when the war broke out in 1940, he chose the Nazi side because he thought that it would be a good thing for Norwegian culture and stuff. So yeah, it's a bit difficult. But it's about how the struggle of surviving. Apparently there was a very harsh winter in 1880-81, and in 1885 and 86, it's about a man who wants to write, but he's struggling so hard to survive and to get money that he almost can't write. So this is a new translation of the book in Dutch, and yeah, I'm curious. I was drawn to the cover. So yeah, that's about it. What I have to say. No, there's a lot more I have to say. I want to do when it's a little less hot. Next week, I want to do a book tour of my library. I have around 800 books, 850 books, I think. And I want to do a little tour because I have quite a few stories to tell. And there's a lot more than this. This is just just for show. No, it isn't. These are my English speaking, my books in English. And then I have translated fiction, Dutch fiction, and a lot of non-fiction. Although a lot of my non-fiction is gone now, I have also a lot of photography books that I want to talk about. So there's more to come. So yeah, that's it. Do you have anything else to say? No? Hi, Bob. It was nice meeting you. I had a really good time. And yeah, and if anyone else comes to Belgium, I will gladly show you around and even more talk about books and visit bookstores if you want to. And yeah, basically have a good time. Bye-bye.